Hello, this is an updated guide on how to set up Boateye for micro speedrunning, also known as pixel perfect measuring. If you are new to micro speedrunning, then it's not recommended to do Boateye as it requires quite a lot of setup for a very small time save. Instead, follow the guide in the description to learn how to use Ninjabrain Bot the standard way. There's also a troubleshooting document in the description that covers a lot of common mistakes. And if you're still having issues, then you can join the Java Speedrunning Discord and ask in the public help channel for help. Also keep in mind that this tutorial is for Windows only, and if you're on Mac or Linux, then check the links in the description. Boateye will only work with a very specific mouse sensitivity value in Minecraft settings. We want to use the lowest valid sense possible with your setup to have an easier time measuring. In order for the game to feel the same after decreasing the micro sensitivity, we will also increase your mouse's DPI and decrease the Windows cursor speed to balance everything out. This calculator linked in the description will help us do that. But keep in mind that the only sensitivity that matters for Boateye is the micro sensitivity. DPI and cursor speed values are only to make the overall sensitivity feel normal, but you are free to change them if you want. To use this calculator, we also need to make sure that enhanced pointer precision, or also known as mouse acceleration, is disabled. To check this, go to your Windows mouse settings, then additional mouse options, pointer options, and disable enhanced pointer precision. If you insist on using mouse acceleration, then read this section in the document that I've linked below to learn how to set up your sensitivity without using the calculator. Keep in mind that this will result in a higher sensitivity, which will make it much harder to line up the eye measurement. Now we can start calculating the new sensitivity. First, get your DPI from your mouse software. I'm using 800. Next, get your sensitivity from your options.txt file. To do this, open your launcher, right-click your instance, Minecraft folder, and open options.txt. Find the mouse sensitivity value and copy this and paste it here. Lastly, we need the cursor speed, so go to mouse settings again, and it's this value right here. These are the new values that you're going to have to use. So update the DPI in your mouse software. Next, update the cursor speed. Lastly, update your micro sensitivity to one of these values. To update the micro sensitivity, open your launcher, right-click your instance, Minecraft folder, config, MCSR, and standard settings.json. Find mouse sensitivity and update the value here. Don't forget to save. And also make sure that the game is not open while editing this file, or it may not save. If you don't have standard settings on your instance, then instead you can go to your Minecraft folder and update the sensitivity in options.txt. If this DPI is too high for your mouse software, or you don't have a software at all to change your DPI, then you can change your DPI using an alternative software known as RawAccel. Go to the link in the description and download this zip file under Assets. After installing the zip file, extract it, then open the folder and run the installer.exe. After that, you can open RawAccel.exe. You might have to restart your PC to open it. And this sense multiplier box is what we'll use instead of the DPI. So go back to the sensitivity calculator, and instead of putting in a DPI here, just put 1. Then copy this DPI here, and go to RawAccel and paste it in the sense multiplier box. And then click apply. Next, we need to set up Ninjabrain Bot for Boateye. So copy the sensitivity that you used for the game and open Ninjabrain Bot. Go to settings, optional features, boat measurements, and enable boat measurements. In the sensitivity box for 1.13 plus, paste the sensitivity you copied, enable blue boat, set allowable boat angle error to 0.03 and standard deviation for boat throws to 0.0007. Next, go to angle adjustment and change this to number of adjustments and tall resolution, and make sure this is 16384. Next, go to hotkeys and set a hotkey for these two options here. Now restart Ninjabrain Bot and press the reset button here. Next, we need to set up Jingle. Download this jingle.jar file. After running the file, go to hotkeys, add, click this drop down and select resizing eye measuring, and then set a hotkey here. Next, go to scripts, resizing, customize. Make sure this number here is 384 times 16384, and enable change cursor speed to 1 when measuring. Then click OK, and then click No. Now go to Plugins, IC, and enable IC Measuring Projector, and enable Automatically Position IC Measuring Projector. IC might not work for any of these reasons. If that's the case, then disable the projector again, and then go to OBS, copy script path. In OBS, go to Tools, Scripts, click this plus, and then paste the file name down here, and click Open. Next, click Regenerate with Game Capture. However, if it doesn't work when you try to measure, then delete the scenes that this creates, and go back and click Regenerate with Window Capture. Now back in Jingle, enable OBS Eye Measuring Projector and automatically position OBS Eye Measuring Projector. Now open your game and go to Options, Mod Configs, Standard Settings. Make sure Use Standard Settings is on. And then you can do Control F and search for raw input and make sure this is on. And finally, sensitivity, make sure this is on. Now you can try measuring an eye. First, make a new world. This makes sure that your new sensitivity gets applied. Then get yourself a boat and an eye. Place the boat on the ground. Then, without moving your mouse at all, get in and out of the boat and press F3 and C. Now you should get green boat here, and now you can move your mouse. If you get a red boat, that means you moved your mouse during the process. If that happens, then again, without moving your mouse, get in and out of the boat and press F3C. And now you should have a green boat. If you're struggling at getting green boat, then I recommend looking at the boat and lifting your mouse off the desk. Then get in and out of the boat and press F3 and C. And this should avoid accidentally moving your mouse. Also, don't get out of the boat on the same tick that you got in the boat, or you can get red boat, or even worse, a fake green boat. When you have green boat, you can look down and throw an eye, look towards it, and then pause. Then go to Options and change FOV to 30. Then Controls, Mouse Settings, and change Raw Input to Off. Changing Raw Input is not necessary, but it lowers your sensitivity, which can make lining up easier. Also make sure that you never change this sensitivity at any point in the run, or Boateye will not work. If you ever change it, then you need to make a new world to reset it again. Now go back and press your resizing hotkey. Then line up your crosshair with this pixel edge right here. You can hold F3 and spam escape to make this easier. It doesn't have to be lined up perfectly, just to be within these numbers right here. When you've lined it up good enough, you can look at the numbers on the left. In this case, you can see that the edge is 4 pixels left of the crosshair. This means that after doing F3C, you need to adjust the measurement by -4. If the edge is lined up with one of the numbers on the right side of the crosshair, then you need to do plus instead. So when you know the number, unpause, F3C, and pause again, and then use the angle adjustment hotkeys that you set earlier in Ninjabrain Bot to adjust the measurement. In my case, it was -4, which you can see down here. As you can see, you won't always get 100% confidence on your first measurement, just most of the time. If this happens, then you need to measure a second eye. To do that, move a block to the side, Stop and jump once. Jumping, make sure you get rid of desync. Desync is something which makes measurements inaccurate, so it is important to avoid it. I've linked a video in the description about desync, which I highly recommend that you watch. But to put it simply, if you ever move before throwing an eye, then make sure that you stop and jump once before throwing it. Quick side note, if you enable this setting in Ninjabrain Bot, then you will get a message telling you how far you need to go to the side for your next eye throw. You can now measure your second eye. Sometimes you can get something known as eye wiggle. This is when the eye pixel changes between two numbers even when not moving your mouse. There's a troubleshooting document in the description where you can read about what to do if you get eye wiggle. When you do /locate stronghold to check the position of the stronghold, you can see that the distance away is slightly different from the measurement. This is normal because the Ninjabrain Bot and the /locate command measure to different parts of the chunk, but the measurement is still correct. Now everything should be working. If you're still having issues, make sure to read through the troubleshooting document.